Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Pup, and today we are going into a power ranking for all the teams in GWA Season 5. Um, we just finished the draft, just finished our free agency, so we're just looking at all the teams. I'm joined, Zero's in here, Braggda is in here, Offline is in here for a little bit. I'm recording this in post. I kind of missed the start point. I didn't really do an intro. We kind of just went right into it. We were all chilling in the voice call, chatting about it. If you guys think that we did a little bit of wrong, like I did last season, some of it was definitely wrong. Let us know down in the comments below and subscribe. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the power rankings. No hate to the teams that got a D or C, which is mine.
I mean, I don't think Raikou a great mon. I have my personal issues with it because it's a mono stab.
Yeah,
Not,
I have it in another league right now, and it's actually not been. It's been good for the team because my team did not have the best speed tiers. So that gave me a great speed tier. But I feel like outside of that, like Raikou is a lot weaker and underwhelming than I expect.
it's almost the same cost as Zapdos. How? We should have fucking fixed that. My bad. Every complaint is probably because I didn't fix it.
Yeah, Raikou, I feel like maybe would be like a good 12 or 11.
I did really well with it last season, so I think we kept it the same, or I may have even raised it up because Dino did really well with it.
Yeah, he was doing really well with
Didn't
it. I feel like it fits on this team pretty well as well.
Because it got Terra, right? It was his Terra captain last season. Here he doesn't have. Yeah, it fits well. It does the job specific.
It was his Terra cap, but he got Terra Dino. He always got his Dino.
Oh.
Yeah, but I think this team is still pretty good with
What does?
Palafin.
It is. I mean, it has good momentum. It has flip turn, U-turn, volt switch, baton pass, U-turn. That's about it. Registeel, I don't like them on, but it can cheese some games. Brambleghast, the spin blocker that can rapid spin.
We ain't gonna talk about the fact that I got robbed. I wanted him, so I wanted Registeel so bad.
Oh, it's kind of a mid steel type though.
Team, yeah.
Like it's just so one-dimensional.
I need a low.
Rocks. Iron Press. That's about it. Seismic Toss too.
Yeah. I feel like just in general, and like he has Noivern and Terra Captain. I think that's a pretty solid Terra Captain.
Yeah, that's
great. It's really good. You compensate the lack of damage with a Terra, and it's speed tier is great.
You're gonna see like a lot of Terra.
So speed tier is like 123. Yeah, 123. Then you have Raikou at 115. Base 100. Sounds about right.
Yeah, and you always have priority Jet Punch with Palafin, which is super nice on the top.
Yeah, you don't even have to run 100 speed. It's mainly to force the opponent to prep for 100.
Yeah, because like you could run like a Scarf Palafin, like you could just not care about Jet Punch.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the same way I used it.
Yeah, Taurus Blaze is underrated.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's not underrated. It's just plain out fucking amazing. Sorry, I'm swearing.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, free.
Yeah, you're free. But I love the Blaze.
It's a standard balanced team. It kind of checks every box. It doesn't have a grounded poison, so it might be a bit weak to spikes.
That's what I was.
Oh, it has Marini at one.
You're never bringing.
Yeah, but like Marini's probably not going to be able to come to very many games.
Into Tentacle, like it was too pricey for him.
Yeah.
Need to get Tentacle for him unless he wanted to get rid of Raikou, which he didn't want to do. Or like drop Noivern for like 7 or 6 point turn. He just said.
I mean, what is missing on this team? There's not a bunch of crazy insta-win setup mons.
Right. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I mean, he does have 2 really usable spinners.
So you have Robin Spin Komala, which in Brambleghast.
Try to see
the greatest, but is extremely physically frail and isn't fast enough, so either you're forced to run Scarf or to play very defensive with him.
Yeah. He doesn't have a rock type. I don't know if that's like the biggest deal in the world. I'm just trying to see what types he doesn't have on
rock type is not necessary, it's mainly offensive.
Yeah, because I I also don't have a rock type, and I don't feel like it's a necessity because it doesn't resist a lot of the things that most types.
So Spin last season had Clodsire plus Torrent as his defensive core. Right here he has Gliscor, which is probably gonna bring spikes every week with U-turn, and he's gonna combine it with either Sylveon or Bramblegast or Registeel. I think it's way easier to break than last season, but he's overall defensive Wyvern doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's way easier to break than last season. Gliscor is incredibly bulky, but it's not the Clodsire plus Torn thing.
So what do you guys think about the placement of
It
this
is
team?
way more offensive. Solid. It's like a B or an A, probably leaning towards A.
It's high B.
Honestly, like me looking at it, I think it's
Like
it's gotta be A for me, just because like Palafin can do so much for you. Honestly, just that alone, with a solid team, he definitely didn't do anything like crazy to make it bad.
Yeah,
Like,
I would put this at A too.
Like he didn't fuck up the draft. Basically, it could be lower, but not way lower. It's fine.
I feel like the only tier I could maybe see it also going in is B, but like I feel like that might be pushing it a little.
We'll come back later. Compared to all the rest of the teams.
Yeah.
But let's look at Eman. He's got Dragapult, Sui Samurott,
that is heat.
Iron Moth, Jirachi, Iron Hand, Swampert, Torn, him on top, Dashbun.
That team is hard as the Sahara Desert, man. That thing. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. Continue, please.
But with Terra Weirdier, I feel like, I mean, it's just like a point mon. You just really want the points. I don't really see it coming to any match.
Why is it not Terraseptile for some reason? Like, Hitmontop is garbage. Like, just Terraseptile and drop Hitmontop for some reason.
To be honest, I was surprised when I saw Kenneth drop the Dock spot, because I think it's just a really solid pair.
I kind of wish I had room to pick that up.
Kenneth is in another league I play. He probably got the worst draft of the youngster division. He had like a Chinplup plus Roaring Moon thing, and everything else didn't make
Yeah,
that
I know.
sense.
I'm in that league too. Yeah.
Dude, that was atrocious. I tried to not make him look that bad because Chimpow's the best mon in the fucking league, and he still didn't get a good team around it.
But this team here, like,
So
I don't hate it. I don't like love it either.
No, this is Eman. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like
it's very fast.
It is very fast. The Dragapult, Iron Moth, you have Tornadus on there as well.
Like, Iron Moth is deceivingly fast because of the booster energy option, which is very viable. You also have Sceptile with probable Burden. Torn's fast. It's very frail because Dashbun is very easy to break, and Torn has no recovery.
Yeah, Hitmontop and Swampert are your best walls, which is like bad.
Yeah.
Jirachi too, I guess. But
Iron Hands can be a wall under the
it's
right
more of a trade
situations.
one.
But like
Trademark without Terra, you're not gonna sweep with it as much because what it used to do in OU is just Terra flying to dodge an earthquake and try to steamroll from there.
Right.
I do wish that with Hisuian Samurott, you got like another spin blocker. I feel like Dragapult, you're not gonna want to risk it all the time to block spin.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Or something that has like competitive or defiant or something like that, just to take advantage of like defog.
Swampert gets spikes, right? Defiant Torn. Doesn't Torn have Defiant?
Swampert, no spikes.
Otherwise, I'd have blocked it. Doesn't get spikes.
Doesn't Tornadoes get like the superpower Defiant?
Yeah,
stuff?
I mean it does.
It doesn't work like that.
I think it has Defiant, but like you're gonna be running it as Pranks.
I don't think Defiant works on superpower,
Well, no,
does
but
it?
for defog.
It does. Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, it doesn't work on superpower?
No.
Are you sure about that?
Because it's only if your opponent lowers your stats.
I mean, it's a very offense draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has some defensive backbone, has some pivots, not too many.
Yeah,
I feel like get baton pass.
I feel like if he wants to succeed, he has to find a way to out offense his opponents in all situations and be able to break through the opposing team's walls, because he doesn't really have Pokemon himself that can wall things. So he's kind of just gotta play the game fast and end the game quickly Otherwise, he's going to be in a bit
I
of
think that's
trouble.
the right take.
I mean, I don't think it's more about speed. It's a good take. It's a very momentum-based team where there's a high skill factor to succeed with this.
Yeah.
Him on top
Definitely.
does get baton passed, by the way.
I rate
Okay.
it. I think he'll be wrong.
It's between B and A. Like, it's
That's
still a
true.
Dragapult draft.
Yeah,
True.
me,
Dragapult automatically makes it. You can't put it below B just because you have Dragapult.
I think I
I
put
think
it in
B
B
is-
personally.
Yeah, I would say
Because
B.
not because it's worse, it's just because of the skill factor. Like there are some drafts that autoplay. This one like has the potential to be incredible, but
is
you
he
have
the
to be really good.
Miniors? Is that one him?
Yeah. Also, you could really easily mess up against ground types. I feel like some
Yes.
of its offense
Yep.
can like literally get blown away
Yeah.
by ground types.
Yeah, I did
I
see
mean-
that.
You're always gonna eat a hit with Iron Hands at least. Like, it's not gonna get blown away. It's always a trade
Well,
one for
assuming
one.
they're
Depends.
physical, right? If they're special, you might not.
I mean, in a special, you just probably run a Assault Vest anyways and eat a hit.
That's true.
So where are we putting this guy?
B, probably. I think high
Yeah.
B. I think high
Initially,
B.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so then we move on to Cart. They have Kyurem, Cinderace, Mandibuzz,
Ooh.
Cobalion, Vaporeon, Porygon Z, Sandaconda, Diancie, Terra on Alolan Raichu with Houndstone, Victory Bell, Vulpix.
I like it.
Okay.
I see
I
pseudo.
don't like it.
Alright.
I think this is
No? I like it.
no. I don't.
Personal preference, I am a huge fan of Mandibuzz plus Diancie.
Okay. Yeah. I feel
Um,
like they're trying to do a lot of different things in here, like a little bit of sand. They have a little bit of a sun.
There's a sun
like,
core. Yeah.
They would love to have like a
You
Pincurchin.
could have gotten like a Alolan Vulpix, right?
I don't know.
Or even the Ninetales. It's available.
I mean, it's just probably the points thing.
Free agency.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, Sandaconda is amazing. I don't know why it's not Terra. But
And
good
I
pick.
feel like Alolan Raichu is a little bit of
Raichu's
weird
okay.
Terra choice on this team.
I feel
Yeah.
like if you want to
There is
have
no
like a lot of
Raichu.
success. Yeah, Alolan Raichu I feel like is a lot more successful on electric terrain, but obviously like it's hard to get up electric terrain with this
Mhm.
team. I don't think he has any way of getting it up.
Yeah.
I would have
So what-
personally tarot like Houndstone on this team because it can fit into a lot
Same.
of different roles.
Yeah, like Terra goes
Sandaconda
Poltergeist.
or
is hurting.
Handstone.
I disagree with
Me-
that. I think Raichu
Sandaconda.
is very strong.
It is strong, but I think it's
Very
not the.
fast, if it's nasty plot. I think it will be really, really strong.
I think it's gonna be
No.
good. I just feel like other Mons here would have been better fit to be Terra captains on this specific team. But Alolan Raichu is just a great overall Terra captain, so I think it balances out.
Features are a bit weird. Like, you got Cinderace at 116, Raichu at 110, and then it just plummets from there.
Yeah.
95 Kyurem, Cobalion 108. But you're not really threatened by Cobalion.
Right.
I also feel on this team like you're kind of forced to run like a lot of defensive like pivots. Like you kind of have to run Vaporeon in a lot of matchups and Mandibuzz, especially if you want some sort of hazard control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like two spots on like a lot of the teams are already like filled up just with those two defensive mons, and then you can't really run like your Sand Core plus Kyurem Cinderace. You can't run everything that you want.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of type combos that just bypass your defensive guys because they're not super resilient. Mandibuzz is, especially on the special side.
Yeah.
But I think they're too good combined to stab. Like, imagine Shin Power against this. Which
True.
is bad.
I mean, it's normal to have ice weaknesses or like, you know, electric
Yeah.
weakness I can see here.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a crazy like blanket check to physical walls like Gliscor could be. Right? Like Mandibuzz doesn't seem it's bulky, but it has some exploitable weaknesses. I feel like it's easy to break, and I'm not feeling the Kyurem plus Cinderace type
Yeah.
picks.
Yeah, also like you're forced to run removal either on Mandibuzz or Port Change on Cinderace.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the reason you run Cinderace, right?
I mean, Cinderace really has like really heavy forward move slot syndrome, running into wanting to run so much coverage plus that court change. So that's kind of why you get Mandibuzz here, is to like run Defog, but then you have to run Mandibuzz as well.
Yeah, and like if you run both of those, that's already 2 slots, and as we discussed, like Vaporeon's like one of your most Pokemons. You kind of have to bring that at least almost every week, in my opinion. So like
Depends
that
on
would
the
be,
matchup.
yeah, that means like half your team would be filled up in specific matchups, and then and like all 3 of them are support. Like you really have to tack on a lot of offense in order to catch back up with with your opponent more than likely.
He's not fast enough to pack that much offense.
Oh.
He's not bulky enough to live the crazy guys.
But
Yeah.
Cinder, Mandy, and Vaporeon is not like terrible.
No, I like it for
It's not
sure.
terrible.
No, it's
something
not.
that I see like a big weakness is they don't really have a good fairy switch in. Like obviously Cinderace resists,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
Victreebel
Cobalion
resists,
is nice.
Vulpix resists. Those aren't real resistances. None of them are.
Yeah, like
Correct.
Victreebel, you're not switching. You can't really switch that in all the time, and
So
then
yeah.
it
Yeah,
just
it's a
dies.
150 on the Sun, and he's not going to bring it with Vulpix.
Yeah.
Imagine like this team against Spectre. The moment Mandibuzz is gone,
Yeah,
Or even against like Enamorous,
Valiant.
or Valiant.
that's kind of the case with all ghosts. Just any fast ghost can really run through this team. I feel
I mean,
like.
Spectre is like special because it's crazy fast and just stacks
Right.
up for the grip.
Right. We're using Spectre, but I just feel like in general, like a fast ghost, special attacking ghost can run through this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you outrun the Cinderace, I guess. But yeah, Enamorous is probably or Valiant is way worse against this.
All right, so we can be done hating on Kart's team. Where do you guys think this should be?
I
C.
personally think C.
All right, I
yeah.
think it's like low C probably.
I don't think it's quite D quality because like it has like good mons on the team. Just the team synergy itself is not.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe he can cook.
Crazy putting it in C. Like, okay.
But like in reality,
I am.
putting it in C, like none of these are bad. So like C tier is just average.
yeah, it's really like I don't
No,
think
it's
there's
not.
any teams here that are actually bad except for maybe mine. But like we have to,
Okay.
No.
have some teams
No.
be down there.
You have Rain, bro. Like, come on.
I mean, it's like pseudo rain. It's not even that good.
What's funny is I was and then like when I was talking to Dries about how I was gonna trade Crepuscul for Screamtail on him, and he was like, "Don't give the Rain team Rain our Chowdon team."
I didn't even want it to be honest, but then
Does he have a Zelda screens?
I just picked that up like 5 minutes ago. Haven't even really thought about that. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on to Caleb. This is a crazy team with Iron Valiant, Spectrier, King Gambit, Terrapagos. They have Iron Leaves, Toxapex, Flygon, Pincurchin, Spidops, Terra on Articuno, and then Crocolore. I mean,
Who let this guy
he's a
go?
crazy top 4.
I know.
It is offensive as hell. But I think I can talk this down a bit into an A. I don't think it's an S tier.
Yeah. I mean, he did get really good value on picks like Spidops is great. I feel like a 4-point Pincurchin is really nice on this team where you have Iron Leaves and Iron Valiant that really like that. I can see it coming to a matchup or two.
Will he bring it? I don't think he's going to bring Spidops or Pincurchin that much unless it's a specific matchup
I
fit.
feel like Spidops will only be brought if like your team is getting your main sweeper is gonna get outsped by like most of their team, and you really just need to slow them down. And then like Pincurchin will just come in specific matchups where like Iron Leaves looks like it's goated with a psychic signature move. I don't remember what it's called right now.
I just feel like
but-
with those two mons on the team,
But
it gives you
what-
like so much flexibility to run. Like you don't have to run booster on either of your two Paradox mons. You can just run Pincurchin and pivot, or even stack that thing off because I'm pretty sure it gets memento, and it also like sets up
You can
Yeah, you
spike
could run,
too.
like,
hazards.
Yeah, you could like run
Plus that
Electric
with
Surge,
spikes and Memento.
Yeah, I
Just
think you
like
could
it
run
goes
like
for crazy
Electric
offense.
Surge, Pincurchin, and then like you could even run like Electric Surge, Pincurchin with Choice Specs Iron Valiant. So your Iron Valiant is Choice Specs with a speed boost. Like that just sounds
Yeah,
annoying
that sounds
to me.
absolutely disgusting.
Just to have to deal with that. Because like what do you switch in?
Mhm.
Legitimately, you can't switch in. It outspeeds like almost everything.
Yeah.
He's mainly gonna bring from like 90% of his games a combination of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First 7 plus maybe Articuno if he wants to use the Terra. The others
Yeah,
are
that's
maybe
what I was
Honestly, I don't
thinking.
see Articuno coming to a
Iron
single
Leaves is
game.
not a good mon, especially.
Like, I don't think it's worth it on this team.
You do not see it?
Honestly, no. I feel like it's kind of bad.
Ice Stab with Terra Fairy. It probably is. The stats aren't amazing, but it's bulky enough. Terra might have
Bulky
value, but
enough.
yeah.
And in specific matchups, I feel like it could definitely and be like a good Pokemon.
Well, Terrapagos is incredible. It does literally everything. I have it in a different league, and it just has coverage for everything. Hazard removal. You might even rest if you're really bulky. Caleb likes his
Yeah.
bulky teams.
You
There's
could
gonna
just
be that glue one
Three.
for every team. Iron Leaves is bad. Like, don't overrate this, please. Psychic Grass is horrible. I think it also has close combat, but without Terra, I don't think it's gonna perform like you think it does.
Oh, I mean,
To be honest, I feel like it's really only going to be able to perform with Concursion, but having to fill
Not
your
even.
team alongside Concursion and assume you're not just getting outsped by Scarfmons just seems really risky in the long term. So I feel like, yeah, Iron Leaf is probably not going to be as good as it seems
Pyron's
like.
a good one here. It gives him
Yes.
momentum, the Dragon and Ground type, hazards.
Absolutely.
It does well for its 9-point value, but it's not Landers. We have
I
to
mean, yeah.
keep that in mind.
Obviously.
Toxapex is better here than in OU, but it's the worst gen it has by far. It's easy
By
to
far.
take advantage of. And this is not like a super balanced draft, it's a mainly highly offensive one. So it's not going to be pivoting between two walls all the time trying to get
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah, I feel like the only time you'll ever be able to pivot between two walls is like what, Toxapex and like a bulky Terrapagos?
Maybe Articuno,
Maybe Croclore
Flygon,
if you ever
Terrapagos.
bring
Yeah.
that.
So the strength of this draft is mainly on the four first picks because they're fucking incredible and it's really hard to argue
Absolutely.
against it.
Yeah. After that, there's a huge
Like
drop
Flexible,
off.
which hits everything.
I think
Yeah.
you can put this bottom of S or top of A.
No,
That's
it is
what
not an S tier
If you want
draft.
to look at an S tier draft, I think I think Pyro's draft is going to be S. I think this one goes in A, probably for now.
Yeah.
I
we
feel
can
like this
always
is
move
like a top of A, just because of how oppressive those first four mons are. Even with like Spectre
Yeah.
is very like one-dimensional. I would even say King Gambit, like if you're using it as an offensive mon, is like pretty one-dimensional as well. But you also have
Yeah.
Iron Valiant that has a like
No Terra,
plethora of
too.
sets. You have Terrapagos, and just those four mons in general really like invalidates a couple matchups.
Yeah.
I personally like this draft more than Spin because of my playstyle, but I think Spin has a better team than Caleb. Just it feels more balanced roster wise. You have more viable mods that you want to bring
Yeah,
every
I
week.
could definitely see that.
Over here, it's like
I
big
think
four
for now,
complement with two.
I think for now we put them in the tiers and then we'll put them in the order of the tiers.
Yeah.
We can talk as we go, I
Alright.
guess.
So
Yeah.
next up is Pyro. He's got Urshifu Single Strike, Enamorous. He's got Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Iron Treads, Hisuian Gudra, Galarian Slowbro, Weezing, Paldean Tauros, the Aquaform, Hoopa, Alolan Persian, and then Rotom Fan with Terra. I think that's incredible value for a Terra captain.
It is.
It should have been like a 4 or 5 point mon at like minimum.
Yeah, I was so surprised when I saw it at 3 points. I'm like, that's actually a steal.
Whoops.
Yeah. Also, like he has
He
double steals on this team and like double poisons, but I don't mind it at all because he has like a couple immunities. He has a couple really good ground immunities, so he's not really too weak to that, and those are like really strong typings for him as well. And then his top 3 are just like incredibly offensive like pressures.
I
Also,
mean, I would be scared of running into Earthquake with this team. You basically
Yeah.
have Enamorous and Rotom. If it's someone with Earthquake plus a strong stab, you might get cooked. Weezing also has
Yeah.
Levitate, my bad.
And Weezing
Yeah.
is a good physical wall. I mean, you can will-o-wisp stuff, and
Yeah.
you know,
It doesn't
it does a
suck.
good job on this team, I feel.
yeah, I think it fits on the team really well. I think because it gets Levitate, and a lot of the times when you bring it, I think you're probably gonna bring Levitate, except in specific matchups, like Galar Slowbro being your grounded poison is definitely really helpful.
This team lacks momentum. Basically has Volt Switch on Rotom, and if you bring U-Turn on Heart Flame.
And
You're not going to be switching around to get your Urshifu all the
Yeah,
time.
I mean, you have Volt on like treads. You have stuff that you can do.
Oof, that sounds
I mean,
dreadful.
Volt on treads is like a really
I
good,
love Volt Threads.
really good thing. But I feel like the only gripe I have with this team is you kind of have to run a Scarfer in a lot of matchups. I feel like Urshifu as a Scarfer looks really good in a
Yeah.
lot. Like Aquatoros looks pretty good as a Scarfer. Enam looks good as a Scarfer, or even like Booster Treads.
Yeah.
You really just want that like tip-top speed.
Your only removal is Treads. And
Yes.
Overpunk cannot wear an item. So, and if you want to use a booster item on Enamorous, you're going to take Rocks.
Right.
I mean, I had sort of similar stuff last season with Treads and Enam, and you know, I feel like the hazard removal, it wasn't even that bad. Just having Treads, it's one of the best removers in the game right now. I feel like
It truly
just
is.
having that, like people don't really run as many hazards against you.
But just make the ground. If you run into the ground type hazard stacker, they're just going to get them.
Like for like a good example, I would like say like let's just do Zero's team. Like you bring actually wait, no, that's a terrible example.
Yeah, I kind of cook them.
I don't know about that.
Let me wait, hold on. Let me find a team.
I don't know, 7, okay.
Oh, Kenneth. You like can't. The Great Tusk sets of Stealth Rocks. Look, Iron Treads can't switch in on Great Tusk. Since when is Iron Tread switching in on Great Tusk?
It's not. You got Weezing though.
Never.
Yeah.
I know, but like I'm saying, like to remove the Stealth Rocks.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is,
You can, as long as he has Great Tusk, as long as he has Great Tusk, you can't switch in Iron Treads.
I mean, I feel like that's not even that true. You can always get your hazards up, and anytime
Yeah,
Great
it is.
Tusk comes in, if it comes in on your Rapid Spin, then you just switch out to Weezing. I feel like this team, like Pyro's team, it has a lot of that support, so you don't get absolutely boned by any ground type.
No, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree that this team is really good. I just trying to make a point that like, if Great Tusk is on the field, you can't switch in Iron Treads. Is what I'm trying to say.
If Great Tusk is on, okay,
I feel like you need to have a really good pirate,
viable team?
pilot for this team. I feel like if you make some really good plays, I feel like sometimes you're going to be forced to make some doubles that you're a little bit uncomfortable with to get into a good position with your super offensive mons
Yeah.
being Urshifu
Yeah.
and Enamorous. But if you make all those really good plays, if you set up well, and if you prep well, I feel like this could be one of the best teams here.
Yeah, I think
I mean-
like if we wanted to rank this, I think it's definitely on like the higher end. If it's either top of like top
you know,
of 8 tier, or like bottom of S tier, probably.
okay, out of the 5 teams presented, I would put this bottom of 8,
Honestly, I feel like
in my
this is-
opinion. It's better than cards and worse than spin.
I don't know if it's worse than spins, to be honest. I feel like it's better than spins, in my opinion. I feel like
Yeah.
it's the very top of A tier.
Yeah.
Better than
Is that-
Caleb?
I feel like it's a lot more well-rounded than
Wait.
Caleb's.
Okay, let's look at Spectre against this team. Shadow Ball, show me
Low
the switch.
immersion.
Oh, you basically made my point for me.
Terra
Okay.
normal Rotom fan.
Assault vested Alolan Persian.
Nah, I know. I mean, you have like Sue and Gudra that might be able to do something, but it's not a thing about a
But again,
matchup,
like
like whose team would beat whose team.
yeah, it's one
Yeah,
Spectrier. There's one Spectrier. There and
there should be 0.
true, but
Yeah.
there's
I'm
not.
gonna put this at the top of A for
What's
right now.
the-
You guys can disagree. That's all right.
What's the dark type switching?
Dark type switching. I mean, depends.
Alolan Persian.
No, don't say
Palantora,
normal version.
Palantora's
Yeah,
Enamorous,
4 times resist and Urshifu.
Yeah.
Urshifu. Yeah. All right,
I
let's
guess
just
we can
go
go
to
to
the next
Zero's
one.
team.
Zero.
The same team that he always drafts. That's not even true, but
No,
Just-
just a lie. This is the most different team I've ever.
if
like,
this is the
I'm
most
never
different
bringing
team
this
you've ever
again.
had, that's
It's too defensive
insane with
for me.
Roaring Moon Lilligant. But
Okay, only
yeah.
those two.
So he's got Roaring Moon, Zapdos, Ceruledge, Empoleon, Lucario, Salazzle, Terra Lilligant, Alcremie, Braviary, Floatzel, and Sandslash. I'll start it off. I think Lilligant is a very good Terra captain, even though it is a little overpriced.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's 0 tax. It's just what it is. I feel like you, like, really hate ground types. Like, really hate ground types. Especially if they can come with any rock coverage.
I feel like you're. Yeah, like if you like in theory, if they don't come with rock coverage, yes, switch in Zapdos every single time. But if they have rock coverage, the Zapdos switch is not nearly as free, and like you have to kind of play around the rock moves, go into like Sandslash to bait the rock to see like if they have a rock move or not, and if they go for a ground move on something, then maybe you can go for another Zapdos switch. But like.
I mean, how am I orienting this team? I basically have 2 modes: the hyper offense, just win fast, or a bulky offense, where I'm bringing Zapdos and Empoleon because they cover each other really well.
Right.
And Sandslash might be a recurring mon because its stats. It's like a mini Excadrill without the steel typing for the weaknesses.
Right.
But it has removal, spikes, stealth rock, and you just pick whatever offense blows up your
Yeah.
opponent faster.
I do really like on this team, like, you have the double setup threats with Lilligant and Roaring Moon, which are, like, super oppressive. I mean,
And Ceruledge.
the
And
no,
and
I'm saying,
Salazzle.
like, Lilligant
Yeah.
and Roaring Moon, if something comes in with, like, a ground type and kills your Lucario, you bring in Lilligant and you set up a Quiver Dance and you just revenge them. And, like, that's kind of
Right.
the strong thing about this team. It can really just easily set up. I feel like Roaring Moon and Lilligant set up really easily on stuff that
Yeah.
destroys the rest of your team.
Right. And especially if like your Lilligant, since your Lilligant can Terra, like you, if it's a like, oh no, you're like a fire ground type or something. Like I don't know, just an example. Like you click the ground move, kill Lucario, you go for the fire move, you Terra water, you eat the fire move, and then you
Yeah,
just revenge
you
kill
set
them
up more.
after.
I'm gonna play my games mainly that if my opponents make a critical mistake, I'm just gonna sweep. Yeah, I'm very aware that Mirror Herb is an item, and Pup's gonna over prep for this. But I've shown that I can play normally. I can play principal, balance, or bulky
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
No, I definitely feel like you being a very good coach like factors into the team here, because I feel like a lot of people piloting this, it would kind of be tough to find out your win cons in each game, because I mean it really depends on how you prep.
Right.
But a lot of games, like, you're having trouble deciding what's going to be a breaker, what's going to be a win con sort of thing. But I feel like that you're going to be able to
Right.
pilot that pretty well and figure out when you need to set up to win.
Yeah, I basically have a lot of options. I drafted a lot of mons that can do a bit of everything. So I'm always gonna have that door open if I want to sweep. Or
With
just
that
break.
being said, I am not sure this is a better team than Spin or Caleb's, though.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's hard because like all these
Mhm.
teams are great. They're all great.
What are my speed tiers doing? I have Rowing one at 119. Salazzle 117, I think. What's 115? Zapdos 100. Then you go to the
I
90s.
mean, yeah, you have Floatzel and
You can-
Salazzle. I mean, are you going to bring those every single week, though? They're kind of like niche mons.
Not every week, but I might.
I do like the the
I don't think
setup
they're bad.
like boost your speed as well, and you have really good priority with Lucario E speed. You have Sarah Ledge that can shadow sneak.
Yeah.
Weak armor is also a deceivingly high
Yeah.
speed tier.
I just feel like Lucario without Terra is a lot worse. Not that it's bad, it's just like I think Terra gives it a lot more tools. So the fact that obviously
I had a Gen 7 team. It was called Sand Street Fighter. It was like a sand team for Yu with Hippowdon, Lefty, and Lucario. That thing was a special Lucario with a Z Crystal. I just set up nasty plot of expecting a switch. Then they bring in the Blitzcake, quick Z Focus Blast. That thing fucking flies. I think I can know how to build Lucario in order to like
oh yeah,
catch somebody apart.
I really believe you. I was just saying like just in general. But like I feel like just because of like even though like in that situation like the rest of the team like you can like everything else on the team like is great. Like even if you couldn't run Lucario, it's not like Lucario's a must bring every week. It's not like you don't have other options like some of the teams.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any must brings.
I mean, yeah. I'd say Zapdos is really good in a lot of matchups, though. I really wanted that Mon on my team, though, so maybe I'm just a little biased.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were happy with Reggie.
I mean, I wanted it before I got Reggie.
I wanted to bring Reggie. I have one plan with Regieleki in it, and then I just went Zapdos and Polygon.
One last thing before we rank this, I feel like also like you have Alcremie as your fairy. You're kind of weak to any dragon type that has ground coverage. It can kind of cook you. Like anything that sets up like Bax Calebue,
But,
just
like-
like it kind of cooks you if you let it get up a dragon dance.
Bax, Garchomp especially destroys you.
How does Alcremie have anything
I
to
was
do
saying
with
that it's
ground?
your only dragon immunity. It's your fairy.
And I don't know if I'm correct on this, but I'm pretty sure it has better special defense than physical.
It has, but you just run Bold Max.
Mhm.
That's true. I just feel like Garchomp runs over this team.
If I lose to a Garchomp, I quit the season. There's 0% chance
Yeah.
that thing sweeps me.
I think for me,
Either A
yeah,
or
for
B,
me
in
this
my
is
opinion.
top of B for now. Definitely can
Yeah,
change
for now.
depending on what else we see throughout here, but I mean, it's not my sort of team, but I can see why you would like it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite team that I played so far. I can see that the other three I had so
Well, yeah,
far
because
were
your
a
other
bit
three
better.
teams were the exact same.
No, I swear, there was sun offense. There's no sun here. I thought about it long and hard, and I didn't draft the fucking
Yeah,
Arceus.
that really shocks
I
me. I'll
could've.
say that. All right, let's move on to Kenneth. They have Darkrai, Great Tusk, Galarian Slowking, Bax, Skarmory, Terra on Meloetta. They got
That's
Whimsicott,
sweet.
Lapras, Electrode, Magmar, and Misdreavus. Really interesting team.
Okay, hold on. As being part of this drafting process with them, because we're buddies, I was helping him set up and stuff. We were like, our original plan was like to get a mid-tier fighting type, a mid-tier ground type, and then Great Tusk is on the board for some reason.
Yeah. Great Tusk really did not go early.
And then we're like, and then like in Grace Period, we're like, Meloetta's like such a broken Terra captain.
No.
And then Whimsicott is just a great overall good support mon. Bax is great. Skarmory's good because he doesn't have a lot of hazard control, like just a lot of hazards on his team, so Skarmory gives him that. Darkrai's just overall just like absolutely amazing. And Galar Slowking's just like a free switch into like a lot of things.
Yeah, it helps that.
Galar Slowking's literally the reason this isn't a bad draft.
It's true. It switches in on so many things that are a problem for the
Yeah.
rest of the team.
I feel like the top
Yeah.
four are really great picks. I also like Terra Meloetta a lot.
Even 5.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Skarm,
5?
but we can go past that. But like the bottom of the draft, like you have a 1-point Misdreavus, 3-point Magmar, 4-point Electrode, 5-point Lapras. I mean,
Without
yeah.
Terra.
I mean, most of those mons, they would love
Electro
Terra.
without Terra is a different creature.
I feel like but I feel like Electrode on the team, we basically just drafted it because like it's obviously elite speed, right?
But you're
so
never
like
gonna bring it.
well, the only matchups will really bring it is like if Electric's
It has
really good.
screens, right?
Yeah, it does have screens, but I mean, that mon really
does.
wants Terra.
It's
It
not
wants
a-
to be your Terra
yeah.
so bad. It gives you extra points. I feel like that would
Yeah.
have been a way to make this team better and well-rounded. But I feel like
Yeah.
in 90% of matchups, you're bringing like top 6.
True. Like the top 6 are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It has
they're
no
all really
depth.
good. Back each other up really well. Like the top 6
Yeah,
can really
it's good synergy. You have the like Slow King plus Backskull always works. Tusk is never bad. It has a lot of options.
right.
Darkrai has great coverage but no stabs. You're not perfect.
Yeah.
And the lack of depth is gonna. I think it's gonna be a boring season where he's gonna play the same team
Yeah.
every week.
I feel like it's going to be easy
Some
to prep
flex.
against.
Oh, don't worry. I'll make sure he doesn't. I'll make sure he doesn't. I help him with prep. I'll make sure he
But
doesn't.
like sometimes you're just gonna bring the same 4 or 5, just because they're the best thing and it's balanced overall. So
Yes,
it's not a bad
yes,
thing to bring them.
That is something I feel like about this team is like there are Pokemon that you can just look at the team and say they're definitely bringing that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And from a building perspective, you're going to be way more scared of your opponent than your opponent is of you because of the prediction
Yeah.
factor.
Right. I feel like this may be the most predictable team.
By far.
Also, look at
The draft-
Smasher. Look at this team. Holy shit, dude. You
Oh yeah, true. But
can say this about every team.
true.
And this team
Yeah.
immediately.
I mean, on this team, you're literally bringing 6 of the top 7. I don't think you ever touch the bottom 4. I don't think you touch Lapras, Electrode, Magmar, Misdreavus. Maybe once for like Electrode for the speed versus like literally my team with Rain. And that's about it.
Yeah.
I feel like that just makes it
I feel
You
like
yeah, it's a 5+1
Yeah.
situation.
it just makes it
Yeah.
more like an OU team rather than a draft. Like you're always gonna be facing the same thing each week. You know how to prepare for it.
Oh my god, it literally is an OU team. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Without Terra, but okay.
I don't know, but I feel like
I just-
for this, like it definitely has to be a little bit further down just because of that prediction factor. Like you're not really gonna be catching your opponent
Yeah.
off guard ever.
I feel like bottom of
Who's the
top-
MF team? I want to compare. Eman?
Eman.
Oh, you see the team again.
Yeah, got you. Eman's over here with Dragapult.
That one has
Yeah.
way more depth.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
don't know.
it's slightly below.
Yeah.
Eman is I think.
Yeah, I feel like
I would put it
I feel like
below
I could
Eman.
even put it in like C tier at the top, just because of like I mean it's a good team, the good top
Yeah.
ones, but you're gonna be facing the same team. Like you know what they're gonna have every time.
Yeah, you're like
Okay.
like 5 mons. You're gonna be like, yeah, they're gonna bring that. So we just gotta figure out what they're gonna bring as
Yeah.
the last mon.
And outside of Darkrai, they're not really fast. All of them are below 100 speed. Like Gengar cooks this team. It's not even Spectre tier. Gengar just clicks the button.
Yeah, you're kind of forced to run a
Yeah.
Scarf on something if you don't like Dragon Dance up or run like Electrode.
What's the
Yeah.
ice resist?
Lapras.
Holy shit, there's no ice resist.
Lapras.
Oh no.
But to be fair, Lapras is like a busted. It just hangs ice moves like it's nothing. To be fair, but like it's not like you want to bring that all the time.
I mean, if there's a Weavile, you have to bring Lapras, right?
True.
Yeah.
There's a Weavile.
Yeah.
I mean,
The Lapras.
Then you just get low kicked. Holy shit. you're
speaking of Weavile, the next team's gonna be Dino, who has Urshifu
Yeah.
Rapid,
He
Deoxys
cooked,
Speed,
man.
Weavile, Heatran, Mimikyu, Trigalge, Donphan, Galvantula, Cryogonal with Terra, Go-Go, and Dusclops.
I'm sorry, but like,
It's a good team.
who let this man draft this team?
Okay, it's not like
the
that
best,
good,
but it's
but
good.
it's really good.
No, it's
Like-
not like the best, but like just like those first couple picks are like really good.
They were all
Backing
free
them
agents,
up.
right?
A lot of half this team is like free agency. I thought.
I told him to get Weavile. He was gonna get something else, and I just convinced him, like, please get
I
this.
think
It's so
Weavile
good.
looks great on this team.
And it was
Yeah.
before the free agent.
I think getting Rapid Strike in free agency is absolutely a
Mhm.
steal.
I mean, it's 19 points. It is not a steal.
I
Yeah.
mean, but being able to get it with like Deoxys speed, with Weavile, with the rest of the team, I feel
Yeah.
like it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have many ways to get it in. He only has Galvantula with a pivot move. The rest is up to his own skill to double and the position accordingly.
Right.
The access speed gives him like fast hazards, decent coverage
Right.
all around, but it's not strong. Amazing speed.
Yeah, I mean,
Psychic type is bad though.
yeah, I feel like on this team,
Yeah.
I don't know. You do have like stuff like you have Volt Switch Galvantula, you have Slow Flip Turn on Dragalge, which makes it really nice to be able to get in those top 3 threats. But it is definitely gonna be really hard.
And Mimikyu has a get out of jail
Yeah.
card.
But they're gonna have to run a really offensive game, which I feel like a lot of their lower
Yes.
picks don't
Yeah.
really go to that. Like you see like Donphan, Dragalge, Crognal, Go-Go, Dusclops. Those don't really like complement the top of the team.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to get the lower tier mods, you really want to get stuff that backs up the top of your team, which I think is a trend that we've been seeing for a lot of these teams so far. That we've seen like maybe one mod on the bottom that helps with the top couple, but like there's not much more than that.
Yeah, and
So
I think
I mean, Urshifu, it can't be a balanced draft. It's not a balanced team, and nothing has reliable recovery, and that's gonna limit him a lot. It makes, I think, Urshifu Rapid a bit weaker because you either want to run choice or protective.
what are you
pads
talking
on it.
about? They have reliable
Right.
recovery
There's
on
not a lot of ways to
Crognal,
get
they
it
have
in.
reliable recovery on Go-Go.
I believe in Go-Go and Cryogonal, but it's just like if you're relying on your 5 and 2 pointers to make the entire defensive backbone of your team, with maybe some pivots like Heatran, you're already saying enough that you're not going to be in there to like resist hits. You're kind of more on a counter offense. Fortunately, you have Dio speed and Weavile, which are fast.
But
Yeah, and like if you wanted to run a bulky Heatran, like ground moves destroy you, and like what's your ground?
you got
switch?
Cryogonal with Levitate, but that's like it. And I
Cryogonal's
I
really
do
good.
like Cryogonal as a
Cryogonal
I
terror
hope he
cap.
brings it every game.
I've been using it in PWC, and it's absolutely been tearing through teams.
Yeah.
But that's a
Ice
little bit of a
Snap too,
different
jeez.
format, you know. I do like that it has
No fairy mod,
what'd you
right?
say?
No,
I
Mimic.
mean,
No
they have
fairy.
Mimikyu.
Oh, my bad.
And they have like a decent steal on the team as well, so it's not like they're like super weak to dragon like earlier. But
I like the Fairy Steel Dragon Core for sure.
I definitely think this team is really good. I feel like Dino did a really good job in free agency to make it like really complete, because before that I thought it was a pretty not great team.
Yeah, we might have actually put this thing in D tier without the free agency stuff. Legitimately.
Okay.
Like, but I think now probably like B tier, maybe C. Or A.
Which is the other seat? Would you pick this over Kenneth? I would absolutely pick
Yeah,
this over
definitely.
Kenneth.
Yeah, for sure. I think I would probably pick this over like in the middle of B. I think the middle of B is
You think middle of B?
or like top.
Up
Like
to you.
mid-
I feel like top of B.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
good because I think it might be better than the other both the teams in B tier right
I feel
now.
like it's probably pretty close
I
with
don't
Zero's
see
team.
how, but I mean,
Yep.
mine is really adapted to me. I feel like after Weavile and Deoxys, the hyper offense is gone, and then he's just stuck with like a weird bulky offense without pivoting.
Yeah, I mean that's
team.
why I can't really raise it
Yeah.
up to an A tier team, but I feel like those top 3 picks. You also have Mimikyu that like hands into that hyper offense.
It's like get out of
Yeah,
jail card.
like-
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's more of a get out of jail card than an actual mod that makes progress. It has 90 base attack, and it can't hit
I
steals
mean,
for
you
anything.
get a free Swords Dance on that thing, and in some matchups it can really do some damage. They also have like Dragalge that's just dropping nukes. You have Galvantula that can literally just like change the speed tiers of the entire match. I mean,
feels blocky to me. It's a blocky team, a blocky, bulky offense
Yeah,
team.
I can see that. But I do feel like it's a pretty decent team, and I am excited to see what they can do with the top 3 combined. All right, you guys ready to move on to the second row? All right.
Okay.
Let me scroll down, please. All right. So we've got Crep, who has Meowscarada, Clefable, Ursaluna, Slowking, Salamence, Iron Crown, Talonflame, Hisuian, Decidueye, Zebstrika, Glaceon, Swalot with Terra, and then Chargebug. What do you guys think?
Everyone is useful.
I think, in my opinion, that he has the worst Terra captain in the league. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, she got the extra points with it, and I think with Terra might be useful.
I feel like, honestly, Knackle is a much worse Terramon than Swalot. I feel like Swalot can actually, it can do a decent amount. I'm not like too familiar.
Open up the Smogon page. I don't know anything about this.
You want to look at Swalot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the core like Terramon that she might bring every game or not bring it up.
Like
It matters.
Swalot's not like bad.
The stats are not looking great.
It's just not good. It's not
Ability,
bad.
Liquid Ooze, Gluttony, and Sticky Hold. So if you get leftovers, they're sticking. Oh, After Armor Body Press.
See, it can do stuff, and being a Terra captain, it always has like any sort of it can fit to any matchup, which I feel like is really nice.
Yeah. Glaceon is kind of slow for what it is. Why are we starting by the bottom? I'm so sorry.
I feel like Glaceon should be faster.
Yeah,
I really think it should be faster. It would be
but
so
it
much.
isn't. Mono stab ice is not great. But let's start from like the real hitters. Masquerada, 123 speed. It's a secret ice type.
It literally is the ice type.
Does not have sword stance.
It's so much better. I feel like you don't need Glaceon on this team because you have Meowscarada that's just clicking triple axle. And honestly, this is one of my favorite mons to use in draft. I feel like it's so good. 17 points from Meowscarada, I feel like is a steal.
I want to use it.
Dude, I love Meow.
It's on my list.
It's Meow. I'm using it in another league right now. It's so good.
It's just like it can fill so many.
It does have its downsides.
To be fair, I've only played one league, and Meow didn't even get to enter the field. But still,
I'm rocking Meow in one of my other leagues.
Maybe I'm wrong.
The #1 team, and it's been destroying people.
Maybe I'm wrong, but it has 2.5 sets. It either runs choice or boots.
Yep.
Maybe like offense lead.
Focus
that.
You can run like spikes and stuff on it too.
I personally like Sass Meow.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, just to get someone off guard by living something, but it's not going to come often.
What?
It's not like crazy, right?
I mean, I feel like it's really good.
I appreciate it. It's like a wave mon.
I feel like it also does a lot for this team. Knockoff is really nice for this team. I feel like you really like that. Just being able to knock off like leftovers and stuff, being able to whittle things down.
Has a good momentum if you combine Meowscarada with Smoking, Talonflame. Decidueye has U-turn, right?
Honestly, I'm not sure if Decidueye does, but probably.
I don't know.
Chargebug's an incredible web setter. This thing is really bulky. It's like a Cricketune with a Violite.
The one thing I say is like,
it's gonna get webs up. You're not gonna one-shot it.
I feel like you don't really need webs on this team. I feel like they don't do too much. I mean, it's a 1-point mon. It's good value.
It lets your Salamence get some sweet.
Salamence, your dragon.
Or Saluna under webs sounds scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like even under webs, you're not outrunning everything with Ursaluna anyways.
Well, if you're Scarf, you will.
It's Crep.
Scarf,
She's gonna
Facade.
bring Trailblaze.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know like how to talk about this team. I feel like it's definitely like one of the most interesting teams so far.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited to see what Crep does.
What's the rocker? Clef? There's only like one Stealth Rock one, right? I don't know if Iron Crown gets Stealth Rock too because it's new, but
Iron Crown doesn't.
You don't want to bring rocks on Clef every week, or you might. It's Clef.
Yeah, And like you also don't
Sure.
want to be running spikes.
Meow, you can run
you
spikes.
see spikes on that thing, but you don't want to run it
Yeah.
every week. You don't want to run the rocks on Clefable every week. So your entry hazard game is like pretty weak.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's fine when you have like double defog on your team and no spin.
What's the removal?
Wait, yeah,
Talon
what is there?
and Decidueye.
Legitimate.
Talflame.
I'm
The
pretty
CGI
sure
has removal?
it's defog.
Yeah, it has defog for some reason.
Okay.
And like, I think defog's really good on this team because since you're not really setting up a lot of hazards, like the downside of getting rid of the hazards on their side is not as big of a deal. On their side is not as big of a deal.
Yeah, this team does kind of hate hazards though.
So-
It doesn't like stealth rocks at all. Spikes are really annoying to wear down stuff
Yeah,
like
it's
Ursulene.
balanced. I can see for running boots a lot. It's very balanced. Like
Sure.
you mainly want to run Clef every week, probably Clef sloping, and then you just
Yeah.
complement with a
That's
lot
like-
of options.
Yeah, that's your defensive core right there, I feel like.
I might actually like this team more than Kenneth's one, just because of the depth of roster. Everyone is
Yeah.
useful.
I think maybe like top of C, maybe
Yeah,
top
I
of
don't
C,
know.
bottom of B.
Even Moby. Yeah, top
I
C
feel
will
like
be.
before I do that, I feel like almost every mon is useful. I just feel like Glaceon and maybe even Substrika to like some extent aren't really that useful. I would have liked picking like a 9.
feel like
Hold on,
Substrika-
rest of Zebra. It's good.
Substrika being the electric type.
Could be.
Substrika being the electric type is not like the best because like the big benefit to electric types is most of them are fast. They hit first. Electric types are a good offensive type, but like Substrika is not really fast.
It's pretty fast, but it doesn't do everything that you would want from an electric type. It doesn't hit very hard.
Yeah.
It really wishes that it had Terra. So I feel like upgrading from Glaceon
Right.
plus
Yeah.
Substrika to something better would improve this team.
Like even Terra Captain the Glaceon, because Ice Tape is bad. The Glaceon stats are not horrible, but it has other utility like
Yeah,
Wish Passing.
I see that.
Yeah,
All right. So
I think top of C.
yeah,
or
I think
bottom-
top of C.
MF is Kenneth, right?
Uh,
Okay.
MF
All right,
is
top of C.
Eman.
I'm good with
No,
that.
it's
Toronto is Kenneth.
okay. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
him on team one.
All right.
The Blastoise. This is Braggda,
Give me
right?
D tier right now. Give me D tier right now. I'm out.
No. All
Okay.
right, so next up, we got Raging Bolt, Quackable, Tinglu, Pecharunt, Grimmsnarl, Iron Jugu, Amarogue, Terron, Hitmonlee, Hisuian Electrode, Bastiodon,
Hold on.
Illumise. I feel like Hitmonlee is a really good
Interesting
Terra
decision.
Cap, but Hisuian Electrode wants it more.
Agreed.
Yeah, I realized that after because the Suing
Like
Electro
an hour
wasn't on
ago.
my original team plan, so that's why it didn't end up being a
Mhm.
Terra Captain, was because it wasn't on my original plan, and by the time I was picking it to be on my team, Hitmonlee was already Terra Captain. So
Yeah, I mean, you could have changed it in free agency, which would have been nice. But I do feel like
to be honest, I was
Yeah.
super busy today, so I never
Fair.
really got on.
I feel like if we start at the bottom, like Bastiodon is a really good value for 3 points. It's also a mon that would like
Yeah.
to have Terra, but I feel like it got decent buffs with like body press and
Right.
stuff. Hisuian Electrode, obviously, you wish
Yeah.
you had that Terra for the extra coverage and stab.
Yeah.
But Hitmonlee's really nice. I just don't see a way to like. I wish you had something like a Thwacky on this team at least to have some way. To
Yeah, that's what
activate.
I was.
Activate.
I was trying to draft Wacky, but Wacky got picked up way earlier than I thought it would.
Yeah, I just feel like something like that. Even grabbing something like NDD, which can also help out Armorogue, like even something like that
Yeah.
would make it.
That was also on the first iteration of the team. Yeah, that was my plan, getting DD, but like I just ended up not picking it up because like
It's 80 base speed, right? 87,
Oh.
I think.
something like that.
Yeah, at mono stab fighting, I think you can activate it with mirror,
Yeah.
the herb thing, white herb, close combat
Yeah,
if you
or
want to
even, like,
activate it.
Yeah.
Normal
Still
attack
very like
is
takes
not bad.
time.
Or normal gem fake out. Normal
Yeah,
gem fake.
which isn't
Yeah.
great, but I don't like it that much. personally.
I feel like it can do something.
I know it has a lot of attack, but otherwise, I mean, it doesn't get immediately swept by Spec
Yeah,
Shooter,
that's true.
which is a positive.
Yeah, because I have 3 dark types.
I mean, Tinglu's just
Yeah.
an ultimate answer to that thing. You can also run Booster Iron Jugu to outspeed it. But honestly, I don't like Iron Jugu. I feel like it's just on this team as like a speed mon, trying to fill out your speed tiers.
You don't want to.
Yeah, I feel like Iron Jugu is pretty much just a fraud.
Yeah.
Based. Armor Rouge. I don't like it in this team. It's not as fast as it could be,
No.
and it's just weak to rocks.
I mean, to be honest, like your team isn't weak to rocks outside of Armor Rouge and Iron Jugu. So
What's
Crack.
removal? Yeah.
Quavo,
Oof. Do you
Hitmonlee.
want to run them? Are you going to run those two with removal every week?
Well, not every week probably, but like in
Just like-
theory, like the weeks that I are gonna bring it are the weeks where I'm actually super duper worried about like just hazard stack on my side.
it's not like you're bringing those like rocks weak mons every week. Like you're not bringing those a lot of the time. You're definitely probably not going to bring most of them. I mean, both of them most of the time, because you have Raging Volt, you have Quack.
3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's 3 of them. Illumi
Yeah, that's a fake mon.
I'm starting to see more flaws with this. Like, you're basically bringing Tinglu for hazards every week unless you want to surprise with something that I wouldn't expect.
Right.
Grimmsnarl might bring screens, which makes Illumise
Or
pointless
Thunderwave.
to run.
Thunderwave's also good.
Yeah, like just annoying in general. I just don't see this team as like, oh my god, it's gonna defensively overwhelm me because Iron Jugulis doesn't have high stab moves unless you
I
want to
agree.
risk Hurricane. Armor Rouge needs to set up, like, give it time to click all mine and maybe weak armor if your opponent allows
I also
it.
feel like this team would really like
It
a wish
seems like it
passer.
doesn't. Yeah.
You know, giving wishes to Tinglu or Raging Bolt just to let them have some more survivability would be really nice.
Really stay.
That's why I
My
wanted
bad.
Screamtail. That's
My
why
bad.
I wanted.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I can't rate this highly. It just doesn't kill fast enough and it doesn't survive
Yeah.
long enough.
Yeah.
Are you
I
Blastoise?
don't want to say
Baltimore?
it. Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we saying for this?
Do what must be done.
Yeah. It's
I
fine.
don't want to say the bad thing.
Yeah, it's fine. Literally, I
The only
said it.
way from here is
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I hope you surprise us with that.
To be honest, this is my like 3rd draft league ever. So like, I haven't really gone into the memo of like what is a good draft yet. So I just gotta find that one league where I can get a really good draft and then use that as a sample for my next couple of drafts.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get there, and I mean,
Okay.
you have some really good pieces on this team
Yeah.
anyway, so who knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think you're inclined to play offense, so
Yeah.
you're gonna learn fast, and that's gonna be really cool.
All right, let's
Yeah.
move on to Ducky,
You have this done.
who is a lot.
Okay, as you say the names, please tell me the things that get KO'd by
No,
Spectre.
I'm not
Okay.
doing that. But this team has
I'll keep
Porygon
count.
too, so they don't lose. They also have Muck, and they have Girafarig, so that they have switch-ins.
Oh.
But
Dude, I love Dude,
Girafarig?
Girafarig being 1 point.
it's
Are you
actually a
kidding
good
me?
1-point mon, to be honest.
But why is it 1 point? I feel like it would be like 2 or 3. Personal.
I mean, I don't
Could
know.
be, yeah.
Because like, it's a
not
ghost
crazy.
immunity. It's like Psychic's
Giraffe.
not a bad defensive type when you.
It is a horrible defensive type.
Normal.
I mean, it could be worse.
Bro, it resists like fighting and psychic.
But, I mean, this mon doesn't.
It's not the resistance
That's it.
system. I'm saying like weaknesses wise, it only has 2 weaknesses.
Yeah, but I mean, when are you really running Girafarig anyways?
Dark
Like,
Angels?
never?
True.
Yeah, you're not.
Especially with the other mons on the team, I feel like you're probably not running more Pico very often. Maybe Muck in a couple games, but the rest of the mons, they can come to any game. Like Porygon 2 and up.
Yeah. Yes, that's. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
Muck I think is gonna come when you're worried about toxic spike stack. I think is when Muck's gonna really be
The
able
nice
to
thing
shine.
is you have Corviknight anyways, which is it's like a defog bot.
Right.
Like,
You have
you're not too
Corviknight,
worried.
and then you have Landorus, Latios, and Tinkaton are all immune to toxic spikes.
So you're never really that worried. I feel like this is like a really well-rounded team. I think Greninja is so good. It can run Battle Bond.
Just saves this draft. Latios is overrated here. Like, without Terra, it cannot break Steel
That's
types.
not really its role. You have Lando and Infernape
That's
on
not-
this
yeah.
team. I feel like that's your
It's
steal.
just I feel like I had Greninja in one of my drafts, and it was probably my second best mon besides my Blood Moon Ursaluna. He's my Blood Moon Ursaluna, just ate every hit in the entire game for some reason. But Greninja is just a great it's a really good Scarf mon in my opinion, because like it's already a great speed tier, and then if you Scarf, what's outspeeding it?
I like it to patch that up.
Pick up Life Orb specs too, even Battle Bond. I think it's good. It's in the draft. I think he went very principled. He tried to fill every type in the type chart.
It gives me like Gen 7 draft vibes of the top 5. I mean, obviously not with like Corvi, but you have
it has like 8 viable mons.
Yeah, I think
Landorus, the goat is back.
I think it's 9 viable mons, 8 mons that you're gonna see a lot more.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely, I like the depth. It might not have the highest power ceiling, but it's a balanced draft, and you have to play accordingly.
Like out of the teams, though, like legitimately, if we're to put something in S tier, like I'm really trying to figure out what we're gonna put in S tier.
You don't have to put it in S tier.
There is one more team down the stretch that I think is really good, but I mean, we'll get there when we get there. I think that this team is pretty good though. I could put it in A tier or B. I think it's more of an A tier.
I would say I think just look at the A tiers. I want to see if we think that it's better than any of the A tiers.
Caleb,
I don't think
Pyro.
it breaks enough to be A. Like everything in A can like just rip a team apart.
I mean, you have
This one doesn't.
Greninja, like teams.
Dude, that thing has like 100 base special attack.
Just Battle Bond and destroy everything.
True.
Okay, get a kill first. That's
You
like
also
we
haven't even like discussed about their Terra Cap.
immediate.
Sinistra is one of the most broken Terra Caps we're allowing.
Sorry.
Like Sinistra is such a good Terra Captain. Being able to like calm mind and everything.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's good. Very good. Strength up for recovery. It has Scald, Matcha Gotcha for the burns, and Terra Blast can probably fill in every role. Compensation for the weakness. The most Terra, like in OU and other tiers, the most used Terra on these mon, but the most used type for this mon is Steel because it covers the natural weaknesses of Fairy, Grass, and Ghost. I think Fairy is also used, but what else could you use on this?
I could see it. Just depending on what you're not bringing in the matchup, you could pretty much bring anything.
Oh, there's also no bulky water on this.
I mean,
which isn't a must.
It's definitely not a must need. You have a bulky normal type, which is like pretty decent into everything. I feel like Porygon 2 fills a lot of those roles. You have Corviknight, you have Lando T. Like they cover each other pretty well, I would say.
I see a glaring ice weakness on this team.
Yeah.
There's like Tinkaton, but after that you just kind of get run through.
I mean, to be honest, there's not really that many like very, very powerful ice types in the meta right now.
I mean, Meowscarada, Weavile, Greninja's already
Kyurem,
picked.
that's like
Kyurem, Baxka. That's like 6 teams already.
I mean, that's literally the only ones that you'll see.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that it makes it like that much better, but I'm saying it's not like a huge glaring weakness where you can't overcome it. It's not gonna be what makes you go 0-5, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's a very solid and principled draft. The only thing that is missing for me is the offensive power.
Yeah. So I guess we'll put this in B, sort of near the top. I want to put it around here. I'm not sure.
Same block.
I'll put it right here, and we can.
It's more principle. I think more people are gonna like this more than mine for sure. Like.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I could also see it going over Dino's.
I would screenshot this and tell somebody new to just draft like this because it checks every box. except
and
the
I
Pokemon.
know Ducky
It
seems like they're
works.
a good player, so I feel like they'll be able to pilot it
Yeah.
well. I keep saying pirate.
Like most of the things you were saying on chat earlier this week or two were things that I used to say. I really identify. Oh my god, you could change Mug for a Lantern. But then
I
he
mean,
needs
you can't
poison.
right now.
Okay, my inner monologue. Yeah. No,
All right, now we got my team with Archaludon, Azelf, Okidogi, Enamorous, Therian, Pelipper, Basculegion F, Regieleki, Overquill, Rhyperior, Lycanroc, Day, and Arbalava as the Terra. What do you think?
It is unconventional, but I think it can work. I like that you have the bare minimum for a good rain team and Overquill on top of it. There's talks about running an Ubers season after low tiers is done, and I was like, I want to get Kyogre and I want to run Overquill just because it works in rain. And here you have it.
I drafted this with a lot of fun in mind. My first round pick was Okidogi. I mean, like, I picked Okidogi into Basculegion. Of course, it's not going to be like a great team, but I feel like I can definitely cook with this and have some fun.
I would have liked to see someone bird in Mon just to pair with Harbalava.
Yeah, I could see that.
Regieleki is a great pick,
Mhm.
both in rain and just in general draft. It gives you removal too.
Yeah, and I have
It feels like a hyper offense draft.
I have a lot of things that cover ground types. Obviously being rain, cover ground pretty well, but also like Arbalava, sometimes just completely can invalidate some ground types depending on what they're running. So I feel like Regieleki fits.
I mean, I think you're probably the one who's most aware of the flaws of this team. It's extremely, extremely user dependent. It is very like offense in your face. You have to use this. There's very low room for error. It can't be an A team just based on definition of like, you can definitely win with this, but you have to play very well. It's very custom to your likes.
I'm not even sure if this is a B tier team. I mean, maybe that's just me talking about it because I've been analyzing it, studying it. But I mean, I look at someone like Ducky's team and it feels like it's going to have a lot more success than mine. That is probably going to be like kind of streaky.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to have more success based on just the team itself. I think yours has way more breaking power and it can win more than it loses.
I also feel like you might be
I think
just
Ducky's
looking at
team
me.
is better, but I feel like you can cook with. I just don't think it's gonna lose that much. It's very user dependent, and that's why I would rank it in C.
You said
Maybe.
in C?
Yeah, probably. Maybe low B, but
Right.
it's. If I gotta be honest,
that's
it's
fair.
a C
I
team.
do think it's
C team.
better than Kenneth's though. I think Crep's is better, but I think I'm beating the one-dimensional Darkrai Great Tusk team.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like this team is like your team. Unlike Ducky, it's scary because there's things that are just gonna rip you apart if you don't prep well for it, or if you make a bad misplay, you just lose them on the spot.
Yeah. I mean, oh well. I think I'm gonna have fun with it, which is the most important thing, especially after coming off a big W in last season. Yeah.
Deserved.
All right. Let's go on to that one guy who has starting off with Chiyu, Annihilate, with Glamora, Superior, Cyclizar, Florges, Gastrodon, Vikavolt, Orthworm, Terra Bombardier, Rampardos, and Stantler. Definitely unorthodox down the stretch.
It's very strange. It is very slow too.
Yeah, I mean,
Like Cyclizar is fast, but defensive.
but you do have webs on Vikavolt, which is really nice. I really like that with Chiyu and Superior. I think that's great.
Yeah, if it was Terra Vikavolt, I would like it more.
Yeah, I feel like Terra Bombardier is just really
Can't afford
weird.
it.
I feel like you can afford the points.
It does not have defog.
Yeah.
So Bombardier has like the third stab and rocks. Stealth rock
So
as
you're
an
literally
option.
just gonna get 4 stabs.
You have Glamora? Yeah.
Well, you
three
get
stabs.
like the 3 and then plus
Oh
Terra.
yeah, the Terra, yeah.
So you just run
Yeah.
4 stabs, which is kind of crazy, but it also like doesn't really do too much. I feel like you're always really gonna run. I feel like the first what is it, 8?
Alright, I'm back. I just had to eat what I
We
missed.
went over my team, put it in C,
We're talking about one
but
guy.
now we're on that one guy.
Okay.
I feel like the first like 8 on their team are really good. I would have loved to see a Terra Vikable instead. But
Yeah,
I mean, I feel
I
like
agree.
you're kind of forced to run webs a lot with this.
He
To be
needs a bit
honest,
more
though-
momentum.
Yeah, but to be honest, like this team, because we're labeling it at points, we're not actually putting them in order of the way they drafted it. They drafted Bombardier basically so they could get more points. Like if they drafted Vikable, they probably would have not been able to get everything they wanted.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, but he could change Bombardier to Vikavolt in free agency.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
like you already have a couple mons down there, like Rampardos for 3 and Stantler for 1. I mean, you don't really need those mons for those points.
Yeah.
Like I would have rather just seen Stantler for 1, get rid of Rampardos, and put the Terra in Vikable, and then you're getting your 3 points back.
Absolutely.
I think that would make this team much better.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like, issues I have with it is Glimora does not have a lot of staying power, survivability. It's mainly
I
used
feel
for
like
hazards and maybe some memes.
yeah, I feel like one of
So
the
it doesn't fit with the Florius plus Gastrodon defensive core, and Cyclozar is the region mon that always is alive. It does not fucking die.
It also sucks that there's no roost on Vikable, because if there was, like, I could see that being a really big, like, key part of the defensive core, but without that, it struggles.
Yeah.
There's the momentum. I got Cyclozar clicks U-turn, and Vikavolt clicks Volt Switch, and that is the point of bringing GU. You want to bring it in,
Mhm.
on the button.
Yep.
Annihilate does literally everything under the book. This thing is the support.
Right, I think this team is like just probably like out of all the teams is the definition of offense.
What?
I mean, I could see it.
No. I mean, it seems pretty slash bulky offense. It doesn't. This is. I mean, considering how slow it is, I would not call
I
it
feel
an
like
offense.
you look
I
at the
It
first
is an
4
offense, but
mons,
not like.
and you see
classic.
like Chiyu,
Right.
Annihilate, Glamora, Superior, just like setting up those toxic spikes, and then destroying everything with Chiyu, Superior, even Annihilate, depending on what kind of sets
Yeah.
you're bringing. So I can see like why you would say it has that sort of mode, but it also has those bulkier modes, which I like as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did not take into consideration the speed, but yeah, that's not very fast, and I feel like if we
She is a wall breaker. Annihilate can sweep, but it's more of this bulky ball breaker sweepers that needs to get a couple hits in to boost Rage Fist. Superior can be a classical sweeper, but without Terra, it lacks critical coverage.
and I
And the rest of the draft is more like momentum, bulky offense, or even balance.
I just personally do not like Rampardos very much. That's just me personally. I don't really like
I
it.
don't
I
think
also
he's gonna
think on
bring
this
it.
team,
Especially
Yeah.
with
something like
Bombardier.
Earthworm is really bad.
I feel like that might.
like as a steel type.
I feel like Rampardos. Yeah,
Oh,
Rampardos.
it's his only flying. Oh, he also has Bombardier.
Yeah.
Those are the two Earthquake and Vikavolt.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't mean to say that.
Superior can kind of switch in.
I just feel like this
But-
team has like it kind of has too many flaws to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the speed. Like it doesn't.
it's not. It's for like the mons that are offense. The most of the mons that are their main offense are not fast enough to take advantage of the offense. And even though you have like sticky webs, you can't really bring Vikavolt to like every matchup.
This isn't the Glamora draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need Goldango on this team if you want it to be a Glamorch.
Or Brian. Arena was a free agent. I think this team would benefit a lot from it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Primarina's actually great. I love Primarina so much.
This is just a team that
Over on other things, you need something
it
a
could
bit
use just
faster.
a lot of improvements.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? I'm thinking, honestly, it could.
I mean, it's worse than
Yeah,
Crep's for
definitely
sure.
worse than Krebs.
I'm
I feel like
thinking-
it's either.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of below Carts. I feel like I could put it top of D.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
I-
really
I can agree.
doesn't compare to the rest of the teams here.
Yeah.
And that's not saying that it's like crazy bad, but
Offline.
all the teams here are really good.
No, because like all these teams are solid. It's just like because of how good these teams are, comparing it to the other teams, it's pretty easy to put it. I feel like it probably belongs towards the lower end.
All right, now we got offline. They have Ursaluna, Blood Moon, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Scizor, Hawlucha, Metagross, Terra Comfy, Gudra, Hisui Typhlosion, Electros, Hisuian Quillfish, and Spiritomb. The Terra Comfy is incredible. I don't think we should have let that Montera.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it could have been a first round pick. I thought about it myself.
I think it's 10 points. I think it's 10 points, or we make it 9, not be able to Terra.
I
think-
think Terra's fine. It's just really strong.
Yeah.
It's like the strongest thing
Yeah.
you could consider.
It's probably the strongest Terra captain, in my opinion. Like, maybe.
Yeah. And I feel
Arguably.
like they did a pretty good job
Arguably.
building
It's in
around
the
it.
race.
Your team doesn't really get like smashed by like steel types or poison types. I feel like you have double steals on the team. You have other steel resists. I feel like it's
Double
really
steal.
nice for building around Comfy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Earthquake's not a huge issue.
And,
Hawlucha and Ogerpon kind of make up the speed tiers, but I don't think Hawlucha is that super crazy to consider bringing into
Yeah.
every game.
Yeah, again, like, the Hawlucha is very similar to my, like, Hitmonlee situation, where, like, again, like, you're not, when are you activating Unburden, in which case you probably will bring, like, Mold Breaker, more than likely.
Unfortunately, Hawlucha has more options.
That's
and
true.
one of those are defog. This team has serious hazard removal issues. You have to rely on Scizor or Hawlucha for
Yeah.
every game.
I mean, you
Yep.
literally
Or
have
just
one
assume
weakness
hazards
to
are gonna be up.
hazards, though. You have Typhlosion. Like, you don't
Spikes
you don't
exist.
like spikes, of course, but toxic spikes you don't really have an issue with. Having Hisuian Quillfish.
Because doing Quillfish switches in, you have 2 steel
Exactly.
types.
Like you don't hate all that stuff. Comfy also could Terra Poison. That's a pretty decent and normal Terra type for that thing. But I can see why
Yeah.
that would it would really weaken like your Ursaluna if you're going for like a bulky offensive mode.
And if you want hazards, you have to bring Metagross every week.
I mean, you have spikes on Quillfish and toxic spikes.
Yeah.
But, so one of those two.
I feel like
Is there
the
ground type,
Hisuian
obviously.
Quillfish kind of has to come to a lot of games here, which is not a bad thing. It's a good mon. I feel like it's a steal for 6 points, but it is forced into a decent amount of matchups just based on like what you need to bring. You need that Intimidate mon. You need something to be able to eat up some hits or set up some hazards.
Yeah.
Dark
As
Resist,
I've
yeah.
said, Blood Moon Ursaluna, one of my drafts, was by far my MVP. And I personally really like Ursaluna Blood Moon, but like on this specific team, it's not bad on the team per se, but it's not as good as a lot of as it was on like my draft team, probably, because like it doesn't fit nearly as well on this team.
I mean, I feel like it fits decently well. It's just super bulky offense. You have a lot of mons like that are just gonna hit super hard and be fast. Like you have Ogerpon, you have Hawlucha to some extent, and then you have good priority on Scizor and Metagross sort of thing. So to have Ursaluna that can either run just like Blood Moon and destroy things, and which is like Blood Moon is very good. It's resisted by Rock and Steel, where you have ground type moves. I feel like that covering for the rest of the team is really nice on here. I would have liked to see just a little bit more support for that thing. Maybe like more slow pivoting to be able to get out to it freely. I would have liked to see maybe another mon or two with a lower speed to run like a trick room option. I know offline has Ursa in the APL, and we cooked up some stuff for trick room, and that worked super well when we got it to happen. So I feel like he could really use that on this team.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, any other comments?
Not really. I feel like just in general, like maybe B tier
I feel like
somewhere.
this is,
Okay, the first question is, do you like it more than
yeah,
Crep?
I like it more than Creps, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like I do like it more than Creps, but I think it's like bottom of B or like top of C, but I think it's a B tier team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I can see that.
All right. Yeah, I feel
feel
like
like
that's
it's
a
fair.
that's a pretty good spot for it. All right.
Yeah.
We got Maki next with
Maki.
Goldengo,
Goldengo is great.
Horn T, Keldeo, Ribombee, Umbreon, Rotom Heat, Cinccino, Serena, Terra Knucklestack, and Arbok. It's a really well-rounded team. Until you get to Knucklestack, I don't think that Mon's doing very much, even as a Terra captain.
Probably point
I mean,
support.
obviously for point support, but I don't know. I wish that you had enough points to like just go like Terra Serena or Terra Cinccino even, because both those mons are great.
There are 9 useful mons. Maybe Arbok. Skill shut, no. It's no. 9 useful mons. I wish since had the Terra, it would make it twice as powerful
Yeah, that's
as
what
it
I'm
is right
saying.
now.
But it still like does decent work.
Yeah.
And I guess it is kind of nice with the Knucklestack because, you're gonna have to run some mon with Rocky Helmet, or you're gonna want to. You're also probably gonna run something with like Covert Cloak. You're gonna need like some special wall to beat Keldeo. You have a lot of different answers for different things on this team, so if you bring the right mons to a matchup, you can easily just 6-0 on team preview.
Yeah. Okay, options on this team. Hazards I can see on Garchomp and on Knucklestack. Really not
And,
much
I mean, you
other
have
than
webs.
that. Oh, yeah, but I mean regular hazard support like Rock Spikes. Do you want to bring out... Yeah, you could probably bring Rock Garchomp every week with other 3 slots for coverage. It's not the worst, but a bit predictable. Walls, Umbreon's a good wall. You can pair it with Torn. Yeah, Umbreon plus Torn with Wish support, you can, and even Rotom Heat for pivoting.
Yeah.
You can probably play a very solid bulky
Definitely, I
offense with
feel
that.
like that's great. Also, like Goldengo can run like a specially defensive set or physically defensive set. It does a really good job of breaking down a lot of other mons, just because it has like a very powerful attack for a decent. Well, it has a great typing and it has decent stats in its defenses. And you have a great spinner.
What I see weak
Serena.
about this team. Oh, yeah, that's great. I'm lacking a physical wall breaker. You basically have Keldeo for the special side. Goldengo is good for breaking, and even for setting up a nasty
I
plot.
feel like your physical wall breaker is technically you could say Garchomp.
It has to bring hazards a lot of time, unless you
Yeah.
just run SD Quake.
I mean, you
Dragon.
definitely don't have to run hazards all the time. I feel like it is nice for this team that try to like switch into Keldeo. You want to set up the hazards so you can put on a lot more pressure with that thing. But I don't think you're particularly locked into bringing hazards every week. But then that kind of makes it weird with having Goldengo.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like, why would you bring Goldengo if you're not hazard stacking? Or like first pick it with priority.
So I feel like on this team,
Yeah.
one change I would make is if you're not going to have Terra Cinccino, bring some 9-pointer that's like a rock type that can come in and just set up rocks. And it has like other usefulness for the team. Like there was Rhyperior on the board before I picked it up 5 minutes before free agency closed. I feel like that honestly looks pretty decent on this team.
Yeah.
Even what's the steel type?
Yeah.
Oh, Goldengo. Sorry.
Goldengo.
There's the only hazard removal is I think
It's
Serena,
Serena.
right? And if you bring that thing without a Terra, oh my god, we were talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks not to have defog on Torn and Rotom Heat, but I feel like this team, like, you're probably running boots on Rotom Heat, you're running boots on Torn, so you're not really going to care about hazards that much.
Yeah.
Truly, yeah. Like, truly, hazards are not the world.
And everything else resists it.
You can get hazards up pretty freely, and they will stay up because you have Goldengo's like probably like the best.
Definitely the best.
Stop hazard, the best way to stop all waves of hazard removal.
Yeah,
I do like what Pup said earlier about you look at this from team preview and you can probably do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and for that, I feel like this is probably like a bottom of A tier team for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, you okay? I am on a different planet. I was like, I prefer Crep
Really?
over this.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys talk and just.
I don't know. I feel like
Okay.
We're talking about the
Yeah.
Goldengo team, right? You know,
Like-
wait, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
Really?
I feel like just the offensive pressure that you're building on with even like Calebue, like
Of what?
what's switching into Calebue on a lot of
Calebue.
teams that you don't deal with easily.
Every bulky water?
Yeah, and you have like easy answers.
Or like maybe
I
not
don't know.
every, if you focus
feel like
blast, I guess.
This team is like super well rounded from like 1 to 9. And then you have Knucklestack and Arbok that are kind of just sitting off in the back. But I feel like you have a lot of usability out of those 9 mons, and you kind of go crazy.
I just feel like, in general, like if we're saying Crep's better than this, then that's like I feel like I'm a little
Maybe I'm
understatement.
exaggerating it,
Ew.
but sure, dude. Put it in A. I
I
don't agree
think if we're
personally,
gonna
but
put it in A,
I don't.
like that might be committing a little too much. I feel like maybe
It
it
is a
deserves
lot.
like a high B.
I mean, I could put it in B, yeah. I guess I'm kind of overlooking it a little bit. Like, its physical offense is not as good. I could see why it would take it
Yeah.
down. I just, like, I am not, like, a huge Garchomp fan, but I feel like it's not really needing to run hazards every game, and when it's not, it's a very, very strong physical mon.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if you were facing Chansey, you would have some issues.
0. Since we're in the it's the Dream Draft League,
Other
right?
one, yeah, Green League.
I have Garchomp, right? First week, no hazards. Second week, no hazards. Just saying.
It's different composition.
I don't know.
That's
I
fair.
do like this team.
Do you like this team more than Ducky?
More than Ducky's team?
I don't. I
I feel
personally
like
don't.
it's right there with
But
Ducky's. I
I
would
wanna-
probably put it over Ducky's, but
Yeah,
I can see why you would.
I think we.
Wow. Really?
Out of like just in general, like just Maki has like some threats, but like so does Ducky, right? Like Ducky has. I feel like Ducky's is slightly better, so I think maybe we
Both
put
are
it.
trying to be principled. I think Ducky just pulls it off a bit better.
Yeah,
A bit,
I think
a
maybe
lot
we
better.
put it on the tier like right below Ducky. I think that's
All right,
Yeah,
I can
not
I can
really
see that.
wrong.
we'll compromise to there.
Uh,
Definitely the most polarizing.
I don't see what you guys see on the team. I think there's a lot of like a good defensive team doesn't lose to this. I'm overcooking. I'm just
I mean, you're good. I respect the opinion, and I mean, it really depends on like how Maki builds this team. I do believe.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
it has good. It has good points. It has good roster depth. It's lacking a lot of physical attack. Even on setup,
And
you have to play
we cannot
balance.
say that the next team is lacking in physical
Yeah,
attack.
definitely not. With Dries having Gouging Fire, Sneasler, Rillaboom, Primarina, Clodsire, Blastoise, Incineroar, Fortress, Drifblim, Terraleafeon, and Dracloak. I mean,
As
Sneasler, Rillaboom.
I told him to put Ninetales over Incineroar, just so Gouging Fire
Yeah,
can cook.
I mean,
as
that would have been nice. I do like the Intimidate. It's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the
for this
parting
team,
shot.
like down into like I don't really like
Yeah, it's a good
Leafeon
bulky
that
guard.
much, but with Terra it could probably cook. Dracloak doesn't do much.
Yeah,
that was my idea.
But the rest of the team is great.
right.
I have the mini terrain core with Sneasler Rillaboom as Gouging Fire plus Prima for the core Fairy Dragon. Clodsire for hazards, Blastoise for either Shell and Spin. But it's just I told him not to get it, I don't like it. And Drifblim is
Bro.
Spin Rocker with
Yeah.
terrain support.
My man, this I was talking with him about my draft. I was gonna get. Obviously, I dropped Fortress in the end, right? But I had Fortress, and he said it was a bad idea. So seeing him with Fortress now makes me think he was mind gaming me into dropping it so he could
I can
get.
see it.
I doubt he would do that. I think he hates Fortress more than me. I just don't understand why he picked it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of needed a steel type on this team, so I can see it just like playing a role. It's nice to have another spinner, but I feel like it's kind of just.
And
there
also, it's
to
not
be
weak to
there.
ground. Or or fighting. It's like it's only weak to fire, and like gouging fire and Primarina are like amazing
you
submissions
do
to
have
like
great
fire moves.
resistances.
So like
But I like what Zero said earlier about having Ninetales on this team. Looks great with like gouging fire. You also have the
Yes.
Terra Leafeon, so like you're terroring that on. You want to have something to be able to support it a little bit more. I know it likes the grassy terrain.
yeah, like
still.
doesn't this thing get chlorophyll?
Yeah.
Doesn't it get chlorophyll?
It does.
Yeah,
Leaf guard chlorophyll is something else, if
That-
anything.
that's no, it's only 2 because all the evolutions only get 2 abilities.
Yeah. It has Wish Pass. It's something I said in favor of it, and Terra Blast lets it cover the weaknesses it has, coverage
But
wise.
the fact that you're making your Terramon your Wish Passer,
Yeah, Terra Fairy. Have you
I
heard
mean, you
about
can
that?
Terra Fairy this thing,
Steel.
become a Sylveon. You can Terra Dark, become an Umbreon. I mean, I know it's not exactly like that, but I mean, I can see the vision with this.
It's also for the extra points because he went really
Yeah.
top heavy.
I think because he has great like it's just I think it may because like I don't think like on this team I think it would do actually nothing on this team if it couldn't Terra because like
Yeah, that's the point of drafting it with Terra.
That's
like,
what I said about it on.
You
Zero's
can't
team
evaluate
last
that.
season, and that did nothing.
I played like 6 games that season. I would have made playoffs, I swear.
because like the thing that's really holding Leafeon back is
Coverage.
Yeah.
a good
It's not the typing, it's the coverage.
yeah also that also is a thing so like
It has like X Scissor, Knockoff, Leaf Blade, Solar Blade, and I think that's about it.
Solar
Big?
Blade you could run quick attack
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double
Last
Edge,
Resort. Yeah,
you know.
that's also something I consider.
or stance if you want to run
Mhm.
offense but like you
But
know
no typing.
Mhm.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Have
Personally,
oh, and
I mean, I
Edge-
was gonna say I wish that we put Terra on Drifblim. I feel like with the way that this team is built, I feel like Drifblim's a better Terramon. And then, you know, I
Maybe,
wish Ninetales
yeah.
is on this team as well.
I
Maybe
would-
drop Fortress for a different steel type.
The initial. Yeah, I told him to drop Fortress so much. Drifblim Terra, I think, was one of the original plans, but he needed the extra points to get Clodsire, probably,
Yeah.
or something like that. I mean, at the very least, it's a high B draft.
Nah.
as a premier
No, am I clicking?
Blastoise lover for reasons. I think just Blastoise getting Rapid Spin first off is just great for it, just giving it that tool to have Rapid Spin. It's just a great tool for Blastoise. It gets Yawn as well, so like you can be run bulky like with that kind of stuff, like Yawn and Rapid Spin. But it can also just be Shell Smash, and you can possibly sweep teams in the right situations. So like, I feel like
Like,
Blastoise
most-
actually fits this team
Uh-huh.
really well, despite there being another water type, because like Primarina and Blastoise play completely
Yeah.
differently.
I think that this
Yeah.
is a B tier team.
Everything in the
to
team
be
is
honest,
bulky.
like high beer.
Yeah, true. I feel like what's frail on this team? Sneasler.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that thing's
Drifblim.
gonna sweep.
Yeah, exactly. Sneasler, Drifblim.
Drifblim is
They're
Drifblim's
not.
not fail.
yeah.
That thing's 150. Like, have you seen the stat? Like, come on, 150 HP or something like that.
Yeah, to be honest, it's just that it's not. It's just not. Like it's.
All right, I've decided
Oh,
I'm
it's just-
changing it to A, B plus, and B minus because there are a lot of teams in this range. There are no S tier teams, I don't think.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think we can move up the top 2 in
Yeah.
B right now, and then put like that.
I would probably
that's good.
do this just
Which
looking at
one-
it for right now.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Which one's
That's
the Psyduck
Ducky.
team?
I-
That is not a B. I don't think it's. Yeah, I had my offense issues with that team. I don't think.
Yeah,
it's
I guess it
that-
could go
that
down
easy.
to B minus. I don't know if there's another team in B that's like better than it besides like the two above. I do feel like something we should move up. I feel like Crepuscul's team probably goes up.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think we can move Crep's team up.
Maybe here.
Yeah.
I don't think the sub rankings are that important. It's probably us being.
I mean, yeah, but
nitpicky
it's
about
fun.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're just general guidelines.
I feel like if anything,
And
we
I
should
feel like
look
they're
at the
yeah.
top 3 A's. Those are like the 3 that I'm not so sure about the order.
I would never put Pyro top. I wouldn't even put it on A probably.
I definitely think it's an A tier team, but I think Caleb's is probably the best with its crazy mods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the draft.
Yeah. Man, it's kind of weird because it's like top heavy as well with some minor.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I still think Spin's better, as I said initially, just because.
I definitely think they're like 1A, 1B teams for sure.
I wouldn't even put it in A.
That
but
is
that's me.
crazy.
I
Yeah,
would say.
I feel like this has got to be the rankings I'm gonna go with. Obviously, a lot of people in that middle tier, but that's like pretty normal.
That's the average.
5 people
yeah.
average, 5
The
below
average
average,
tier,
5
so,
below
like-
average.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I would even put Pyro in B plus to make it perfect.
Eh. Nah.
Freaking Belcher.
I really like Pyro's team. I think I like it a little bit more than both of you guys do. But I mean, we'll see what Pyro does. He's choked against me, so he might choke.
What's
Good
Pyro?
killers.
Wait,
Pyro
what's
has
Pyro's team?
Urshifu single, Enamorous, Ogerpon, Iron
Oh,
Treads,
that one.
Gudra.
Yeah. I think it's A tier. Yeah, it's definitely A tier.
Yeah.
It's definitely
I mean,
A tier.
this is just my thoughts. So, yeah,
I think this is good.
you guys can definitely make your own. I left the tier thing. It's in the Discord, so you guys can look at it. But this is what I'm saying for the power rankings.
Last time we made this, last season we kind of made predictions that didn't go so well. So
Actually,
Yeah.
mine were not that bad.
life of them. But Dries got amazing, right? Dries got first
Yeah.
place.
I
I didn't play the full season, so I guess that didn't
Mhm.
turn out great. I don't remember.
I
anything
hope
else.
this
I think
prediction.
Caleb also had an amazing high team.
I hope
I
this
put
It's
Caleb's
more-
team a little bit lower
It's more
last
coaching
time,
dependent than
and I think I overranked Obscured and Dino's teams, but everyone thought the Dino's team was crazy last season. But
I hope this ranking is wrong.
yeah, me
But,
too.
you know.
But I mean, we'll definitely see. We'll compare this at the end of the season and see what we did wrong, what we did
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I know people are going to make a lot of changes
Yeah.
at the middle free agency period. That's what happened last time, so I guess we can even compare it then.
Yeah, like we
Even if
could.
you rank a team very high or very poor, just because they drafted well doesn't mean they're gonna play well with it. It could be a good team and somebody can
Uh-huh.
screw it up.
Yeah, and it could be a bad team, and they're just really good at using the team, right? So like it's.
I
vice
hope so, because that's my philosophy.
I think it's really like the draft in general is mostly balanced. I think it really comes down to the coaches themselves.
And the top 3 literally won last season, won the previous one, and the other one got second place. Okay.
All right. Well,
Even Dries got.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll do my outro separate, but thank you
Yeah.
guys for joining the power rankings. The link in here, if anyone else wants to make the tier list, is chilling in the Discord somewhere. So go find it yourself. And yeah, I mean, I hope that this is wrong for sure. All right, and that's gonna be it for us. You know, there's some things, you know, Zero and Brad, they convinced me a little bit for some of these teams. I feel like, you know, maybe our rankings are a little bit off, but this is just what I think on first glance. I really hope it's wrong. You know, I can definitely see teams from like D shooting up. I can see my team being the worst or like the best. You know, we'll see what happens. And a lot of it is like, this is all team based. We didn't really base it on the player much at all. So, I mean, You never know what's going to happen. Our rankings could be completely off. That's going to be about it for me. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. About to hit 100 subs, so I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.